What's up, YouTubers? This is Evan for Grips.com coming at you with another video. Today's game is going to be 25 No Limit Hold'em at Pokerstars in the Zoom variety. No real plans for the video, but Zoom goes pretty fast, so I figure we can probably get into some interesting spots and learn some good stuff together. So without further ado, let's get this party started. Now, I know normally in my other videos I would comment on hands that the others played in, as well as me, just to fill the dead air and dead space, but Zoom Poker doesn't really afford that unless I hold Control or Shift, but I'm not sure which button it is, and I don't really feel like figuring it out, so I guess you guys are just shit out of luck on that one. Ace Queen there, facing a raise and a re-raise. It's not really that great of a hand anymore. Had I been holding Ace King, things would have been different, and I would have found a lot of difficulty folding, given that the re-raiser didn't even have a full stack. We went over in the last video pretty much the only situation where you ever want to be folding Ace King in 6-max, and this one was obviously a little different. I'm not going to bother to float here with the Jack 3, even though the paired board is a good candidate for making moves on your opponent. He's just a little too short stacked, and he's going to be fairly committed by his turn bet if he makes one, so not enough room to really move him off his hand there. I should really change my scroller here. I guess the opening raise size is going to be 70 cents. I'd prefer it to be 75, but what are you going to do? And with the ace 3 on the left, I could have possibly waited till it folded around to me and then tried to play the pot if no one had got in there, but even just in a heads-up situation, ace rag out of position isn't an awesome hand to have, so, well, gotta see it flop against the British dude. If he plays anything like Chris Moorman, then he's going to have a very, very wide range. And Jack 9 suited does just fine against that. So my options now are to raise and get it in, or just call and allow him to keep blasting. I'm going to go with the latter option. And with the deuces, I'm going to fold because unlike the Jack 9 suited, pocket pairs are hands that very rarely ever flop any equity unless they flop all the equity. And given that in 3-bet pots, you're going to need to continue when you flop like any sort of piece, you want a hand that has some more floppability than a pair of twos. I guess checking there also would have been an option, given that once I turned trips and I had the flush draw as a backup, it's pretty likely my opponent's drawing dead. I just didn't expect that he would bluff the river after he checked the turn. It's always good to take your time and think about all your options, because every time that the action's on you, it's your opportunity to make the perfect play. And even though at times the options will run close in value, there is always going to be one superior option to the other two. I'm okay with my small bet there. I gave him room to possibly try to bluff me out, and I also gave him pretty good odds if he had like a middling pocket pair that wanted to be stubborn and call at least once. King Queen raise and a re-raise. No dice. And no one's interested in this pot. I'm going to take my chances, although I don't really expect anyone to be folding an ace. And King High high board, worth a bet. Maybe two. When I hit ace defo, worth another bet. Well, the deuces, I'm going to check back. If he has a missed draw, then I have the best hand anyway. I don't think he's going to fold if an ace if I bet. He's definitely not folding an 8, and whether or not he folds a 10 is close. So overall, there's not a lot of reason for me to bet to try to get him off anything. And with the ace 4, even though I turn top pair, getting raised on the turn, make a tight fold. He's only really representing 6s and 9s, but I don't know. It's risky betting the scare card there in that situation, because if your opponent identifies it as a scare card, he might try to rebluff you and raise you up with nothing. And if that's the case, I'm making a big error by folding my ace. So a good option there is to also just check the ace when it comes, planning to check call, pot control, and give yourself the best chance of seeing the river for a reasonable price. And here with 2 pair, yeah, I'm gonna bet. Check raise. Well, although he is check raising with straights and better 2 pairs than me, there's a good chance he's also check raising with a hand like king queen or ace queen, so I have to at least see one more card. And I'm gonna fold that king queen, give him positions. Had it been something like button versus big blind, I definitely would have continued. I'm gonna call one more. Not strictly on the value of my hand, but also if a diamond or a club comes in, I'm going to try to make a bluff. And if he has just a king, he might fold. But looks like he's not folding. So I'll be the one who has to do the folding here. So I was thinking of check calling at least once, but I don't like the fact that he bet 2-3-3 when there are lots of 3s and 2s on the board. It's a weird thing that I've picked up. When someone bets an amount that's consistent with the cards that are on the board, they very often somehow have the hand. I don't really know why things work out like that, but I found it to be, like 70% reliable. So that's something to think about next time you find yourself in a situation where you're facing a big turn or river bet and someone's betting the cards, the number of the cards that are on the table. Take a look at what they have at the showdown and see if you find it to be reliable too. And we have British guy squeezing again, never folding ace queen in this situation. And even if he has kings, I still win 1 out of 3. What you got, bro? What you got? Nothing. Brits are always squeezing. Something about the 3 bet's very popular over there. Just going to use my bottom pair as a 5-out semi-bluff on this board. And now I have a couple more outs. He's not going to fold an overpair, but if I bet the turn and the river, given that an overcard came and there's an okay chance that another overcard comes. I might be able to get him to fold some sort of hand with a 9 in it by the river. He also will obviously have to fold a flush draw, but looks like he's not folding. Good news is I have at least 9 outs, maybe like 15, and I'm getting 4 to 1, so unless somehow all my outs are dead, which is actually impossible, then I'm getting the right price. Another option would have definitely been to just check back the turn. Now, I don't think he's going to fold a 9 if I shove, given that he's going to be getting like almost 4 to 1 on his money. And same situation as before, if he has a missed flush draw, my pair of twos is actually probably going to be good. So I'm just going to check. And I don't think he's folding a jack there. So my check back was a good play. And I got a little unlucky on the turn that he made a pair with that hand, because otherwise by the river I would have been able to move him off it. And I don't think I would have bluffed on spades either, so I wasn't giving him implied odds on his flush draw. And hey, when I raised the flop, I was doing it for value. Best hand. My reason for min raising the button is that I'm lazy. No, it's actually so that I can raise a wider range of hands and call more 3-bets, because people will be 3-betting to smaller amounts than they would be if I opened for a full 3 times the big blind. Therefore, I can play more re-raise pots in position. If I want to 4-bet people, it's also to a smaller amount, so it's less expensive and I risk less money for the same effect on my 4-bets. And this Swedish dude is just straight clowning. Side bet that he bets 50 cents on the river. Who wants it? And shame I don't have the nuts, but you know what? Fuck him. I also think if he had the nuts, he's going to bet a little bigger, so I'm just going to try to squeeze out a wee bit of value, although it's pretty hard for him to call with a worse hand here. If he had anything at all, he's probably like on weak pair aces, trying to see the showdown for as cheap as possible. And when you actually have the goods, you don't want to slow play there. You want to charge them to not allow them to get the desired effect of what they're doing. Switzerland? Yeah, 3-bet. Although the hand plays well multi-way, I'm going to have the worst absolute position and the worst relative position if I just call and Pazer calls. So I think that that makes a 3-bet more attractive. And now I have the lead in the hand, and I can get him to fold a lot of stuff. Even King Queen, which had me beat. Yeah, I'm just going to empty the clip. Hope that he doesn't have Ace Queen specifically. Because if he has like Ace Jack, he should be able to fold it to 3-bets. And if he had Ace King, he probably would have got it all in pre-flop. So if he doesn't have 2-pair, might be able to get him off. But this could also be suicidal. I don't really know. Give it a go. Oh, what you gonna do now? Ace King, 6 low play. But that board run out's actually kind of cool to look at, because if you're 3-betting with suited hands, strong suited hands, gappers and stuff, and wow. Well, we don't have the best hand most likely, but I just lost a big pot, so I feel like gambling and trying to get it back. Didn't see that one coming. Thought he might just have an overpair that he was trying to protect, but otherwise slightly less equity than I thought I had. But that's cool. Um, but yeah, if you are three betting a lot of suited hands and not just blindly barreling off like I was there, but actually only continuing to bet as your equity improves, and your opponent is going to call you down with a one pair hand, you can get a lot of value when you hit disguised two pairs or backdoor flushes or things like that. And you're not giving up too much value when you don't like improve because you're just firing one bet and they'll call you when they have their top pair. Uh, but you're only betting like two-thirds of the pot, half of the pot, in some cases maybe as small as a quarter of the pot. So you're getting really good odds on your money, on your bluff. It doesn't have to work that often. And as long as you don't put in those bigger bets there, drawing dead, then you're going to find you're making a lot of money. Whereas if you're spewing off and just three barreling blindly and getting called down a bunch, then you have a lot of ground to make up in your other pots, possibly an insurmountable amount of ground. So got to be careful about what you do in those three bet pots, especially when it looks like your opponent is not planning on folding. Ace high boards are not the best candidates for three barreling in three bet pots because if someone calls the flop, they usually have an ace, and people have difficulty folding pairs of aces. Whereas a board like a 10 high or a jack high board is much better because there are a lot of hands that they can call with on the flop that are like a top pair that might eventually fold by the turn of river because some overcards came off and some scare cards, and their what was once a monster looking top pair doesn't look so monstrous anymore when it's second or third pair by the river and they're facing a big bet. Try some three betting in position. See what go on. And the queen jack suited, in all honesty, it's a very easy fold. Um, Even if we have, let's say he had aces, and we knew he had aces. So we had like 15 outs, two queens, three jacks, and any spades to make a flush. So our odds of hitting by the river there are like just over 30%. We'll call it 33 for simplicity. So if he'd bet the full pot, we would be getting 2-1, and we'd be getting just shy of the right price. Faux 20. Great number. Yeah, we'd be getting just shy of the right price if all our outs are good. Now, when he bets more than the pot, as he did, just going all in, we need way more equity. The kind of equity that you pretty much only get if you have an open-ended straight flush draw and overcards. So when you're facing an overbet shove, unless it's possible that your opponent is doing it as a bluff, it is almost never correct to call off with a draw. You have to have a made hand and you have to be confident that it's going to be good some percentage of the time to be calling off against an overbet. Now, me, I just didn't give a fuck, but you guys should be giving a fuck. Ooh, min raise the flop. Well, looks like we both flop big, buddy. Let's make it a little more. Just a flush draw. Got him. All right, making ground. What do we got to make, like 1.5 stacks back? Well, aces helps. Ooh, we getting a little action. Gonna hit him with the faux bet. Lug sizing. Yeah, let's just make it really small. Make sure that, wow. Min 4-bet and he still folds. I don't even think he took the time to look at how deep we were. I mean, we had enough money behind that folding for that small is definitely a mistake. Well, it's never easy. Okay, I can do it. I can do it. I folded the tens. That was tough. It's tough. It shouldn't be tough. You're facing a raise and re-raise in positions where it's unlikely people are 3-betting light. Hands like that should be considered pretty easy folds. It comes with time. I promise you guys. It sucks folding them at first, but when you're playing online poker, you're getting hands so fast, you're gonna get a big pair again in like less than like 5 minutes. It's not like live poker where you waited 6 hours to get a big pair, and now you got all this action ahead of you, and you're like, there's no fucking way I'm folding. I waited 6 hours for this hand. I am playing this pot. Online poker's different. Hands come fast, and you can fold a big hand, and another big hand will be coming around shortly after. And I'm calling you, bro. If you defend it with a big pair, cool. But if you defend it with high cards, I win. And those would be the high cards I was talking about. Grips. I don't really think this 2-3 is good, but I got to call at least once, just in case. Getting good pot odds. Don't have to be right every time. And we're building, rebuilding. They should have like a faster fold feature where if you have a hand like 2-3 offsuit, it just automatically folds and takes you to the next hand. Doesn't even let you see your cards. And you can just punch in which hands you don't ever want to play. And then you just boom, you insta zoom to the next game. They also really have to let you fast fold from the big blind. Like, yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna raise the Swede and get it in against him. Hopefully, the players behind don't get involved though, because given that I've raised under the gun and I'm raising up a donk bet, if they put money in, I might be in trouble. Gonna be hard to fold to the guy who has $17, but against Morpheus, full stack, probably gonna have to find. Oh, this time it's 125 instead of 50 cents. Anyone want to guess what his river bet's gonna be? Because he's obviously not folding to the turn raise. Make it a little bigger, just in case he has the old drees, flush drees, straight drees, missed it. 150. Wait, I was betting 125 every street. Once again, too early. Well, I guess we don't want to take all his money. Let's leave him with quarter. Let's leave him with a quarter. Got him. All right, guess what he had? 3, 2, 1. I'm taking a weaker jack. Send the money. Jack 8 off. Jacking off would have been a funnier hand. Oh, hit me with the set one time. Deuce a spade, 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 deuce a spade. Damn, so close. Do you love how when people say that they like almost flopped a set? Like if they had pocket fours, she's like, man, I almost flopped a set. I was one away both ways. You didn't flop a set. That's it. There's no fucking almost. You either did or you didn't. Let's call one time. That's not a good card for us to do anything with. Bottom pair, gonna start blasting. Just call it a semi-bluff. And if he's checking, well, I guess we're gonna bluff some chips off. If he's good enough to, be check calling with the queen, he's getting the money. Anything else? He might be folding by the river. Check call one, fold to the second. I'm not going to keep bluffing here. I think ace is more likely than 10. King fills any gut shots as well, or makes a pair. And I didn't pick up my backdoor flush draw or backdoor straight draw, so I don't really think I have enough equity to keep betting there on the 5-out draw. I think just ace rag, yeah, it's going to be that pretty much. every time. I just want to make one big hand. I'm tired of trying to make all these moves with nothing. I'm going to raise the turn just 'cause. We call that move the float for anyone who's unfamiliar. Calling with nothing with the intention of taking the pot away on a later street. Yeah, fast fold that. Alright, let's go poker stars. One big hand. One straight, one flush, one anything. Yeah, you win, bro. I've gotten to the point where sometimes I don't even see bet these ace-high boards because they call with the tens, but I don't know if they have the medium pocket pair or the ace and if they're going to fold to the second barrel or not. And given that it's so hard to gauge whether or not a two barrel is going to work, I generally opt to not do it, and I feel stupid every time they have the medium pocket pair. Let's do 420 backwards. Got him. People play really honest in those positions. If they open under the gun and you 3-bet from under the gun one, I don't really expect them to bluff too much post-flop. So C-bets are going to be extremely effective there. God, can't give me one set? How many pairs have I had now? 3? Yeah, all right, ace high. Ace high's good, bro. You got me. Ace high. Got him. Man, how good am I? Calling cards like it's my job. Oh, wait. It is. Alright. Well, you guys got 10 more minutes for something good to happen, so send your tweets to @Pokerstars. Give this guy a hand. Hashtag we need it. Because nothing shittier than being card debt for the last 10 minutes of what was otherwise an awesome video. Pocket pair. Let's go. God damn it. Never. King 3 suited. I didn't need to fast fold. If it folds around, that's plenty good enough hand to play blind versus blind, but I'm trying to get in as many hands as I can in this last 10 minutes to try to flop a goddamn set. Oh no, 3-4 suited? That can make a straight and a flush. But pocket sixes, that can make a set. God, never. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Man, how awesome is Zoom poker? It's so much better than Rush poker because it's not run by scam artists. What do you guys think? Is Rush poker going to be back now that Stars went ahead and bought out the competition? Great move, Pokerstars. I mean that. All right. One fucking time. One time. I guess this would be a pretty bad place to waste my one time. Ooh, big re-raise. Damn. I fold. You guys should fold too. Ace 10 offsuit. It's just not good enough. Alright. Can make a shitty straight with this hand. Can make flushes with both of them, and all our cards are red, so that must mean that no one wants to let us see if we can make a flush or not. Obvious. Ace 6 on the button. No need to fast fold that. But I feel like with Zoom poker, since it goes so fast and since the player pool is fairly weak, you don't need to take every little marginal spot that might have a little bit of value in it, and you can actually take advantage of your fast fold and look for your favorite spots. Kind of like that old full tilt commercial. So you can move on from the hands you don't want to play and get to the ones you do. Like Queen Jack suited. I felt like those guys had a really good commercial campaign. I really liked the full tilt commercials. That's probably what I'm going to miss about them the most. That and Rail Heaven. Rail Heaven was fucking sweet. Mm, mm, beat nothing. Call. Check. Damn, see, even when I check back the turn and give them a chance to bet the river, they just check fold. Or check call. You can't, bro. I'm gonna go with ace high. Doubt that's right though. 5 high. Alright, well this can make a flush, right? So, 3 bet. I'm gonna make one big hand before this video ends. 8-9 now has a pair. 7-8 now has a straight draw. Neither of them are gonna fold. Pocket tens. He probably doesn't have that, but if he does, he'd call because he has a gut shot. So only 2 better kings than me. That was one of them. Nice hand. I think overall against his entire range there, betting the turn is better than checking the turn and giving a free card to some worse hands that would call. But checking and pot control is obviously also a very valid option in that situation. Really depends how narrow the range is. The wider the range, I think the more prudent a bet is. Well, sorry guys, it doesn't look like we're going to be flopping any sets today. But does look like we might get all in with 7-8 suited for 62 cents. Oh, no? Alright. Let's get some bluff money out of the sky and avoid potentially getting raised on the flop. Pretty draw heavy board, good board for him to fuck with me on, so just gonna check call like an idiot. Just throw the blindfold on and click the call button a few times. Hope that the 7's good. I really don't like that king, but I'm still gonna call. I should probably fold with the king there, but damn, he got me again. Oh, next hand is the big blind? Yeah, no, next big blind. Oh, it was. Okay. All right, last hand. Hardest hand to play in the game. Pocket jacks. I guess I played them right that time. Okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it helpful. Sorry I didn't bring my A game to the table, but it's the weekend, so I figured we'd just have some fun. Take a little break from the strategy. I think there was still some good material in there regardless. As always, email me your requests, leave me your comments on the video, and have a nice weekend. This has been Evan for Grips.com. Now it's your turn. Go out there and get stacking.